In these days of digital lectures on Zoom, the amount of screenshots can quickly become out of hand. And while there is no quick batch script to organize the screenshots neatly into different folders, there's a quick way to reduce their file size by converting them from PNG to JPEG and allow the JPEG conversion to be of a fairly lossy quality. We'll take this scenario as a basis for our very brief tutorial, but even though this example scenario is specific, the method shown is generally applicable. For a baseline reference, we can right-click here in the folder and go to Properties, and we can see the file size of this folder. It's about 600 megabytes. The first thing that we're going to do is to download the free software ImageMagick. ImageMagick, available on imagemagick.org, is a free image manipulation software. The current release is stated here, and if we click on Windows here, we go immediately to the Windows binary release. And then by clicking the link here, we download the latest release and install the program with default settings. And with ImageMagick properly installed, you should open a command prompt window. And the quickest way to do that is by holding the Windows key on your keyboard and then press R for run, and then you type CMD for command prompt, press OK. The first thing that you should do is to change the directory. Now the default directory is the user directory, but we want to change it in this particular directory, so we can click here in the address field and then copy this with Ctrl+C, and then we enter CD for change directory, spacebar, and then we can Ctrl and V to paste. And then we click enter, and now you see here that now our current directory is the same as this one. We have several subfolders in the directory, and to make sure that we convert both all of the images here residing in the root folder as well as all of the PNG files residing in the subfolders, we're going to enter two separate commands here in the command prompt. The first one that will convert all of the images here in the root folder is simply this. If we enter magic as for ImageMagick, and then we enter mogrify, which is the command that we want to use, and then with the arguments format should be JPEG, and the quality you can of course define as you want. We found that 50% was adequate for these type of like screenshot references. You should only apply this method when the images themselves are of a referential character. There should be no original artworks in any folder or subfolder that you are operating in. And then lastly here it is stated simply what file to operate on, and the asterisk here defines that it could be any file name, but the file ending must be .png. So we can simply copy this, Ctrl+C, and then here we Ctrl+V, and then we press enter to confirm. And now we should wait. You can actually see here in the background that it is in the process of converting, and the conversions will not be in place. The conversions will lead to a duplicate file. The command that we entered here only was applicable in the root directory of the current directory here. So it should have properly converted as a duplicate all of the PNG files in the root directory of the current directory. But if we go into a subfolder here, we see that there are PNG files that have not been included in the operation. And thus we can Alt-Tab, go back into the command prompt here and enter a for loop command. It looks like this. So having verified that we are still in the correct directory that we want to operate in, we can enter as a command this for loop instead. So very simplified, this for loop command will iteratively search for PNG files that has a file ending of .png in all of the subdirectories of the current directory, and for all of those found files it will do the same command as we previously did for all of the root PNGs here. Alright, then press Ctrl and C to copy, and then activate this window, and then Ctrl and V to enter, and then we can simply press enter. One thing to take note of is that in subfolders where the command does not find any PNG files, no files with a file ending of .png, then it will throw an error. But rest assured, if the subdirectory contained a PNG file, then it will have converted those into a duplicate. Now we see here, if you once again see the current directory, that means that the previous command has been complete. So we can go back here, and here we see now that we have a JPEG duplicate of the original PNG. So the final step now is to delete the original PNG images. So we simply search for them. So make sure that you are in the correct directory here, and then we search for .png. Now, to make sure that you do not delete any other file than those specifically with the file ending of PNG, it is reasonable to change the view to details, and then to add a type column here, and to sort by type. And then we can select the first PNG file here, and then go all the way down there until we have the last PNG file. And then we can simply right-click on any of the selected, and then delete. Then we can click Close Search here, and we will be redirected into the screenshot folder here. If we now do the same as we did initially, go to Properties, we can see that the size is now 226 megabytes.